So, we all know that school's starting, right? 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 So, today's video, I'm going to explain to you guys my school stories. Yeah! Well, actually, now that I think about it, I think I only have one school story to say, and that's the reason why I chose this video to be it. So, basically, when I was a 5th grader, 10 years old, I was just playing around doing 10-year-old things till one day. During this day, there were kids making cardboard swords and stuff, and I love to make stuff out of cardboard. So when I saw kids making cardboard swords and stuff, I was like, hey, I want to do that too. So I made the Legend of Zelda Master Sword out of cardboard, and I was like, I wanted to add color to it to be more unique. So that's what I did. I added color to it to make it more unique. But this started the issue in my school. Little did Jordan know, this would cause a huge issue in his school. Now, on the first day when I brought the Legend of Zelda cardboard sword, I showed it to all my friends and they thought it was okay. Yeah, they thought it was cool. And we played Kill the Dragon while we used the sword. Now, my friend group at the time was me, Nathan, Cameron, Martin, and Enzo. So, naturally, we played Kill the Dragon. And on the first day, it was fun. Now, my friend Nathan came up to me and was like, bro, can you make me a cardboard knife? And I was like, sure. And I decided I wanted to make the Youngling sword and a dragon sword so that way we can also have more swords for everyone. Now, the next day, I brought everything, like the Youngling sword and the dragon sword and the cardboard knife. And I hand the cardboard knife to Nathan, and he's like, alright, thanks, bro. Remember this part later. Before the first recess, we had to go outside to do something, and I had brought two of my swords, and I was like, oh crap, I need someone to hold it. And I saw my friend Cameron, and I told Cameron, bro, can you hold both of my swords? And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? So he took the swords and he held them. As we're doing this scene right now, I hear my name being called by the distance. I heard a loud voice saying, Jordan! I stopped, I looked around, and I look behind me, and I see my teacher holding my two swords. And she yells, are these yours? And I yell back, yes. And she's like, okay, well, come over here. She makes me sit down right next to Cameron. Cameron's upset. I'm confused on what's going on. And she's like, do you see the problem with this? And I say, no. I think Cameron says yes. Then later my teacher says, I'm taking you both to the office. And we get up and we're being taken to the office. Now I'm trying to explain to her how I just did it for fun and I saw other kids doing it. But when she heard me say other kids doing it, she didn't think so other kids are making weapons too. No. She think that I was a crazy fucking psychopath and liked to kill people with weapons. As like me and Cameron are trying to explain it, she shuts us up and we're taken to the office and she's basically having a motherfucking field day about complaining about this and that and about, oh, he made a weapon and all this and that and all da. But here's the thing. She said, apparently there's more, but she didn't say it like, oh, the other kids are also making weapons. She said it like I had multiple weapons in my backpack. So of course the office lady says, okay, you two sit over there. And we're both sitting over there. And she's like, I hope you teach them a valuable lesson. Like, bro, what lesson are you trying to teach us? That creativity is fucking stupid and it's a lie and it fucking rots kids' brains? Yeah, I bet your kids had a terrible childhood. So, me and Cameron are just sitting there. We're absolutely pissed off and shit. And I'm basically even more pissed off because she basically just tries to ruin my entire 5th grade life, bro. And like she made it sound like that I was a criminal, and it was just making me so pissed off. They later called Cameron into the room to talk with him, and they later called me into the room to be talked to. I barely even remember anything because I was so fucking pissed off of her. Then they sent Cameron back to class. They didn't send me back to class, which I don't know fucking why. And during this time, I was very pissed off. I'm still fucking am. And then later, before the bell rings, my friend Antonio comes into the office and he's like, hey, you do know that recess is almost about to start? And I was like, oh, really? And he was like, yeah. So they let me go for recess. As we just walked out of the office, my teacher just comes up about to go to the teacher room and she's like, Antonio, why are you in the office? And he's like, I came to get Jordan so that he won't miss recess. And she's like, well, you shouldn't have done that. And I'm just standing there thinking in my head, why does this woman just want to ruin my 5th grade life? Because she's basically Homer and I'm Bart Simpson. Literally, that's what it's like. She's Homer and I'm Bart Simpson. But anyways, I go out to recess and remember the fact that I told you to remember the part about my friend Nathan having the knife? Yeah, well, we only had the knife, so we decided to play Kill the Dragon with it. But Nathan dropped the knife and it landed right on the floor. Now, one of my friends, Caleb, let's just picture him like this. Nathan calls up to him. He walks over. He says, yo, Caleb, could you go pick up the knife? And he's like, where? And he's like, right there. And he's like, oh. And before Caleb can hand the knife right back to Nathan, his teacher stops him. And she's like, what is that? Caleb hands the knife to her. And she's like, that is bad. Who created this? And Nathan's like, Jordan. Now, in my head, I had two sides. One was like, come on, man, I thought we were bros. And my other half was like, you little snitch. So, of course, she's like, I'm gonna go find your teacher, and walks away. And I'm like, well, I'm fucked. I'm walking back to class. I walk in, I sit down in my seat, and I just hear someone yelling, Jordan! And I'm like, oh, what did I do this time? I walk outside. My teacher's walking up super fast, and she's like, is this acceptable? And I'm like, I guess. I don't know. And she grabs me by the wrist, pulls me back into the office, and says, look what he made now. And I'm like, bro. So, of course, they sat me down, and for some reason I see Cameron there, which I don't know why he's there. I don't know why he's there. And we're both just pissed off again. Let us go before our lunch started. So we started walking down and we're starting to explain how stupid the teacher is. And then we later meet one of our other friends. You already know him, Martin. But we also had another friend called Brooklyn. Now we were explaining to them how stupid the teacher was. And they were like, yeah, we can relate to that. And I was like, Cameron, I do not want to go to class. And he's like, why? And I tried to explain to him, like, bro, she ruins my 5th grade life. I'm not going into the class. And I just sit there in the bathroom until they leave. I was walking out to lunch. I saw my friend Antonio, and he told me how the teacher put on a movie once you left to go to the office again. Once I sat down to eat my lunch, I look over and I see the 6th graders playing around with guns and stuff, and I even see this one kid with a literal shotgun that looks so realistic. And then later I tried to tell ER duty, and she's like, sorry, we can't send people up to the office, not on this day. And I just lost it. I lost my mind. Yeah, teacher, if you're watching this, go fuck off. I would also explain how she would always treat me like a bad kid or always pair me up with the bad kids, but that's a story for another time. Well, peace.
Reese's Puffs. Eat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up. Reese's Puffs, Reese's Puffs. Eat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up. Wow, I got Reese's Puffs in my bowl. Wow. Nowadays on